Well, what do we have here? It's a Hearthstone expansion teaser. This was tweeted out earlier today by the Hearthstone account. Spotted castle resident losing something nobody even knew he had, his life. So let's watch this. Very spooky, in short. Ooh. Hearthstone. Hearthstone what? What is it? You'll also see here, reveals begin on June 27th. That is in 2 days. So it sounds like we're going to learn a lot more about this very, very soon. I wanted to zoom in here and see if anything changed on that lightning flash. It doesn't really appear that anything did. But yeah, this dude right here is Denathrius. If you don't know, this is all about the Shadowlands, specifically a zone called Revendreth, which is this really vampire-y themed zone. And it's in this Castle Nathria, which is kind of like the big crazy castle in Revendreth, as you'll see many people here acknowledging in the comments, randomly going to Shadowlands. We're going to see a Venthyr Garrosh, maybe. Garrosh is hanging out there because the Shadowlands is the afterlife in World of Warcraft, if you haven't been keeping up or don't care about Warcraft lore. So some old dead characters make their way to the Shadowlands, some of which land in Revendreth, this zone, like Garrosh, for instance. Some really cool, quick theories here. Here's a better picture of Denathrius, the guy featured there, who has apparently been murdered. Says he lost his life, which he didn't even know he had, because he's in the afterlife, but got murdered in the afterlife. I don't know. Denathrius is the best thing that came out of Shadowlands. This is the Kel'Thas art in Battlegrounds that is very Revendreth themed. There's more talk about Revendreth. Denathrius is so hot. Bargain bin vampires, expansion theme, announcement of an announcement. Of course, the absolute classic Castle Nathria murder mystery. That sounds like a cool idea. There's been a murder that could be a murder mystery. Yeah, I want Sire Denathrius to murder my... We'll keep scrolling. There's way too little time between expansions. Mini sets. I don't know. It's probably still going to be a ways off. The reveal season typically takes a while. So yeah, we're going to Castle Nathria, it seems. Now, the question is, how much further outside of Castle Nathria will this expand? Will this be like just a Revendreth kind of vampire themed expansion, or will it be a bigger Shadowlands expansion? And this is just one of many teasers. Because if we look at the Shadowlands, there are 5 zones that were prominent in Shadowlands. All have kind of like, nature themed, kind of scary dead theme, vampire themed for Revendreth. This is the one that we see here. I wonder if there will be multiple zones featured, or if this is just all about Revendreth. You could save these for future expansions, or maybe try to expand. I don't know. This reads about Revendreth, a realm of looming keeps and Gothic villages. Revendreth is home to the Venthyr, the harvesters of sin. The wretched souls who arrive here may find penance for their misdeeds, or merely indulge the appetites of their keepers. So we see more of that sort of vampire theming here. Now, it's not blood they're drinking, though. In this case, it's anima. Anima is like the essence of the souls of people who arrive in the afterlife, and really prominent, great souls, big characters, people who've led big lives, have a lot of anima. So, for instance, Garrosh is hanging out in Revendreth, and they're farming him for his anima because he's got like a ton of it. He's just a really great soul. Both evil and good characters, I think, can have great souls. He was an evil one, of course. So we might see something there about like farming deaths or characters for their essences, maybe some kind of extra resource. Like instead of mana, you have anima, and you have cards that cost anima to be played. Those sorts of things could be a possibility. So I'm actually really curious what you guys think. Do you think this will be a specifically Revendreth expansion? Do you think there's enough there to carry an entire expansion theme, or do you think they'll need to move beyond Revendreth? So, will druids need to have Ardenweld here? Will druids fit into Revendreth? That's a question. Also, what kind of mechanics and themes do you think we could see supported here? There's always obvious like vampire stuff, kind of lifesteal type effects. I already mentioned the possibility for other resources. I'm curious if you've played World of Warcraft specifically, if there's anything that comes to mind for you for Revendreth and certain mechanics or ideas we might see. I also wanted to mention there's a Castle Nathria raid in Shadowlands, so that's a big piece of content that could be explored, and lots of characters that we might see pop up: Shriekwing, Huntsman, Altamore. I think these could be the sorts of things that are legendaries in the expansion. The Sun King's Salvation. That looks like Kael'thas chilling up there, right? That's matching up with that Battlegrounds skin we saw. This is Artificer Zymox. The Hungering Destroyer looks awesome. Lady Enerva Darkvein. That looks like a rogue legendary if I've ever seen a rogue legendary. So keep an eye out for Lady Enerva Darkvein. The Council of Blood. Sludge Fist. This is pretty sick looking guy. This could be like a Warlock legendary here. Bringing this guy back to life or something. The Stone Legion Generals and Sire Denathrius himself. Which I guess if he's dead, maybe he wouldn't be a character, but maybe he would be a legendary still. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if that's even right. Maybe not actually dead. They may just be on a play on words or something there. Not totally sure. So the last thing I wanted to talk about in this is dates. We saw somebody mention that it seems like there's not enough time between the expansions. This is a little early for an expansion teaser and reveal if it were to start on June 21st, June 27th in a couple days, but not that much. Looking back on previous expansions, that's really not that far off. It's within a week of when we see other expansions. Last year, the expansion was teased June 29th and reveal started on July 1st. So literally 2 days apart, and not all that unusual. Now, that said, the previous expansion, Sunken City, was released a little later than normal. Basically came out about a week later than average. It came out on April 12th. Usually we see it in the first week of April. So usually like April 5th to April 7th, something around there, depending on when the Tuesday lands. I think we've even actually seen a March release technically. But so it was kind of a week late. So that said, there has been a slightly contracted season, but maybe that means that the next expansion will be on a more regular release cadence, which would be the first week of August. So usually something like August 2nd is a Tuesday, which is a typical expansion release day, or maybe August 9th if it's pushed back a little bit. Those are both kind of standard ranges though. So could really land in either of those spots if we're sticking to a traditional schedule, which means typically we would see card reveals starting on June 27th as teased here. There's often a pretty significant gap after the first kind of initial wave of reveals. They kind of go away for like a week or two and then come back and start doing the creator reveals where like content creators start revealing cards over the course of a week or so. So we might get some initial cards here late in June, and then we might also get maybe July 12th or something. Could be the next wave of card reveals starting up until the expansion release in that first week of August, if you're thinking about a schedule. Now, I also want to keep people aware, typically when they reveal an expansion, they also release a card early for free. So we got Okani, for instance, in Sunken City. We got Drekthar and Vandar, I believe, in Ultrak Valley. I think those are the early ones. Perhaps I should say or Drekthar or Vandar. I think for Stormwind it was Flightmaster Dungar, and then in Barrens it was Shadow Hunter Vol'jin most recently. So we might be getting another neutral legendary to play with the day this is revealed. So you might be available on Monday with these reveals just in case a legendary hits the game. Might want to play the new cool stuff. So that's it. I think that wraps it up for everything I wanted to talk about with this teaser. I am very curious to hear what all of you think. What are your ideas? What craziness do you think is in store? Who's going to show up? What characters is this going to focus on? What's the new mechanics going to look like? What keywords could we see? I am excited to hear more. So leave all those great thoughts down there in the comments below. As always, thanks much for watching. And until next time, game on.